Hello and welcome back to another year, that is 2021, of our 5K tennis and Y-Tech Strings fantasy team competition and our tennis racket giveaway. Let's go. I get really excited for these competitions. If you've been playing the past couple of years, then you already know the rules. However, even if you've been playing, listen to the rules here because I have added a little change on the fantasy team. So what I'm going to do to start out the first competition of 2021, that is beginning with the Australian Open, is I'm going to do a random giveaway right now. I didn't tell you about this, but I'm going to do a random giveaway right now. So here's what I'm going to do, and I'm doing this just to show you how easy it is to get some of the prizes that Y-Tech Strings and us here at 5K Tennis give away. In the comment section right now, the first subscriber, again, you need to be subscribed, otherwise the giveaway doesn't apply to you, so just hit the subscribe button. But the first subscriber that puts in comments that they would like 2 sets of Y-Tech Strings, put it in comments. I will reply, or Carla, and we will get your information privately so you can safely get 2 sets of Y-Tech Strings sent to you. So the first person that puts in comments, hey, I want the strings, Carla or I will notate it. We'll get your email address or something privately, and I'll take care of the shipping and sending you 2 sets of Y-Tech Strings. So there it is. There's the first giveaway of the year right there. All you have to do is be subscribed and say, I want it. So this one is especially for the players out there. And even if you're not a player and you want to start playing and you want 2 sets of strings, just jump in first, okay?
All right.
So congratulations to whoever you may be, and make sure you say, I want them. And then once we get your comment, we'll return with some way to contact you privately. All right, good luck. First of all, we're going to start with the simplest competition to explain, and this is our tennis racket giveaway competition. Who was our last winner, Carlo? Was it Matt Kane in London?
Matt Kane, yeah. Yep, in the UK.
So our last winner, Matt Kane. What's up, Matt? He is in London and won a Wilson Burn 100 countervail. Really nice racket. But for the tennis racket this year, I haven't decided, or we have not decided, what racket we're actually going to put forth. But it will be a very nice racket. It will be either one of our demos that we have demoed, strung with Y-Tech Strings and demoed, so slightly used, or potentially just ordering you a brand new one. But either way, whatever racket is put forth will be an intermediate advanced racket, very nice setup, and I will string it freshly with Y-Tech Strings, and I will overgrip it as well. So even if it's slightly used, it will be a very nice multiple $100 setup. So all you have to do to qualify to win that tennis racket is be subscribed, number 1. That's the only thing you have to do to qualify. The competition is this simple. When the draws are released, so you have to wait till the draws come out, and you need to predict the men's finalists, so both the men's finalists, and then you need to predict both the women's finalists of the Australian Open, and predict both winners. So if you select both men's finalists and both women's finalists and both winners, like Matt Kane did, and that was
for Wimbledon, I think.
Or I think it was the U.S. Open, but either way.
No, I think it was Wimbledon the year before.
The year before?
Yeah.
And last year we didn't get many majors. So anyway, select both, predict both finalists women's side, both finalists men's side, and both winners. If you select that correct, then you will receive the tennis racket. Now, if there is a tie, there has been ties over the years. So if there is a tie, 2, 3, 4, 10 players select the same finalists and same winners, and that happens, we use the fantasy team competition to break the tie. So even if you don't have time to play the fantasy team, stick around, listen to the instructions, because if you win, then you can at least randomly select players if you don't have the time to keep up with it. Mm-hmm. So make sure you at least pay attention to the fantasy team directions. I think that was it for the tennis racket giveaway. Yeah, if you pick the finalists and the winners, you win the racket. Haven't decided the racket yet.
Could be a new racket.
Could be a brand new one. It may very well be. It just depends on how the cookie crumbles at that point in time. Mm-hmm. All predictions for your tennis racket giveaway and the fantasy team must be put in the comment section of this video. Why? Because other players, and there's a lot of players out there, some of them will put their picks elsewhere and some of them will put their picks somewhere else. And it's really hard to keep up with that way. And then the other competitors can't see who's competing against them. So once we get the draws out on this video, put your predictions in the comment section. And if you decide to play fantasy in case there's a tie, then you'll put your fantasy team selections on the same comment, on the same post, so that way I can keep up with them all. All right? If there's any questions about that, please put in comments what that question will be, and we will get back to you at once. All right?
Right.
Plain and simple. All right, the next competition is the joint 5K tennis and the joint 5K tennis and Y-Tech strings giveaway. We do the tennis racket on our own here from 5K Tennis, and Y-Tech helps us with the prizes for the fantasy team competition. The top 2 players will receive the same prizes, okay? So there's 2 winners, top 2 points, the top 2 competitors, subscribers that have the top or highest amount of points will receive the same identical type prizes, all right? The top player, however, will be crowned the Australian Open champion and will be expected to defend their title here next year. So make sure to subscribe again for this competition to be qualified for that. I'm going to run down a list of prizes that you all can choose from, and that is the top 2 finishers. This is one that a lot of people choose, is $25 sent to you either by PayPal, by Cash App, by Venmo, some type of secure way of getting you $25 US. So the top 2 can choose to get $25 cash. Choice B would be 3 sets of Y-Tech strings. And I have different types, texture, I have synthetic. I think actually, I don't know if I have synthetic or not. I have to check. I think I have 1 or 2 rolls left. What's up, Igor Savage out there? Send us some synthetic. Anyway, so we will send you 3 sets of strings. We have different types, different gauges, etc., and I can go over those with you. If you are a player out there that would rather have the 3 sets of strings, the dollar value is more than $25. So choice B is a good choice for players. As well as choice B would be, instead of Y-Tech strings, a Y-Tech shirt. I know a lot of you don't get the Y-Tech shirts. You'd rather have a 5K tennis shirt. But if you're a player and you hit with Y-Tech strings, hey, sometimes it's nice to go out on the court with a Y-Tech shirt.
I think we have a hat too.
Yeah, I think we have some hats, some Y-Tech hats as well. Choice C would be one of our 5K tennis shirts. We have multiple different designs, one like Carla is wearing here. If you watch some of our other videos, you'll see some of the designs that I have on. So if you want a 5K tennis shirt, we will order one new for you and have it shipped to you.
Color you want? You know, we have many colors.
Yeah, and have it shipped to you. I think didn't Jean Swart get one?
No.
Oh, that's right. Mom had something to say about that.
No, he didn't. It was Wildlife got one.
Okay.
There's a few international people
that got 5K tennis shirts.
5K tennis shirts, yeah.
All right, so that is another choice. Another choice would be a Western and Southern Open hat. We have a friend of ours that lives in Cincinnati, and he sent us quite a few hats from the pro shop. So we have some authentic Western and Southern Fila hats from Cincinnati. So if you want one of those hats, that's on the list. Choice E, we will do a video for you, Carla and I, on one of our 5K tennis shows, discussing any topic that you wish. That is within reason. We're not going to discuss anything that's, controversial, anything like that. But anything within reason, we will discuss. And then that's it. So you have a lot of choices out there for the fantasy teams. But here is how to play. You ready? Mm-hmm. Pay attention. Listen here. Please make sure you subscribe and make sure to ask any comments or any questions in the comments field. All right. A little change here from the past. Minor. Number 1, you will select a total of 18 players. That is 9 men and 9 women. Now, 4 out of the 9 men and women can only be seeded. Now, I'm stressing the word seeded. We've had fantasy team competitions where someone will select someone ranked number 21 in the world, and then they will select them as a player, and their seeding come the tournament because of people not playing will be higher. So remember the word seeded and not ranked. In the tournament. So only... You can only have a maximum of 4 players on your men's team and your women's team that are seeded within the top 20. Every match that those players win, you will get 1 point per match win. So that leaves you with 5 players, right? Now, you can have as many unseeded players as you want, but if you choose to select all top 20 players, you can only have a max of 4.
Right. I've seen one person just pick one top 20 player.
Yeah,
and everybody else.
And some people strategize, they pick none of the top 20 players and load it up with their next category of players. So if you chose 4 players seated within the top 20, that would leave you with 5 players, right? Okay, so 4 of the remaining 5 players must be seated outside of the top 20. So 4 players, or you can have as many of them as you want, seated outside of the top 20. They get 2 points per match win. So as Carla said, some people don't pick any players only worth 1 point because if they can get 1 or 2 rounds won with a 2-point player, then geez, if say Federer was playing, he's not. If he lost in the second round, you'd get 1 point. Whereas if you pick someone like, I don't know, name one, Feliciano Lopez, and he came in and won a couple of rounds, you have a lot of points. Even if he lost in the third round, you'd still have 4 points. It's like a 1-point player getting to the quarters or semis, right? So 4 out of the remaining 5 players must be seated outside of the top 20, and they are worth 2 points each per match win, okay? The 1 remaining player, and this is the new addition. Usually it was 8 players only, 4 seated inside the top 20, 4 seated outside the top 20, 1 point and 2 points. I added a 9th player for men's and women's, right? The 1 remaining player must be a qualifier or a wild card. Wild card entry or a qualifier, and that player, both on the men's side and on the women's side, is worth 3 points each. Okay, so a cool,
like a Bouchard. If Bouchard wins her qualifying rounds, but there you go. There's the Bouchard.
Yeah, and let's say
Andy Murray has a wild card.
Yeah, if Andy Murray gets a wild card, boom, that's a 3-point pick. Yeah. If Bouchard gets a wild card, boom, there's a 3-point pick. Now the kicker is that you do not have to have max 4, and 1. You could have, if you wanted to, you could have all 8 of your 9 players seated outside of the top 20. But remember that 1 player on the end would need to be a 1 3-point play. So again, it's only, you can only have a maximum of 4 players seated inside the top 20. You can have 8 players seated outside the top 20. Not a problem, okay? And then only 1 player is going to be worth 3 points. So if you picked all qualifiers, no, they wouldn't all be worth 3 points. It would just be the one that you picked, and every other player would be 2 points if they were all qualifiers. Gotcha. Generally, just so you know, the players that win this, they do their research. Stefan Nizovic is a genius at this game. Casper, a.k.a. Dedseville, is a genius at this game. Matt Cain, all these guys and gals, they really, really, really put a lot of effort into this. So be smart, because they definitely are. Wait until the draws come out. You do not want to pick 2 players that are going to meet each other in the first round or in the second round. You want your players to be spaced out, and eventually 2 of them will meet each other, but it's not generally in your best interest to pick 2 players that are going to meet off in the first round. I know there was a while there where Wawrinka and Dimitrov were playing in the first round a couple years ago, and a lot of people were jumping on, Wawrinka there. So, stuff like that is acceptable. But just be careful with that. So wait till your draws come out and try to pick players that are not going to meet right at the same times. When the draws come out, put all your team selections in this comment field, hopefully along with your tennis racket giveaway selections. Again, you can just play the tennis racket giveaway. That's fine. But again, if there's a tie, then there won't be a breaker. We can assume that a lot of people this year are going to be picking Nadal and Djokovic and then a Djokovic winner. So I'm assuming every entry is going to be pretty much that. There might be a TM in there or something. So it's going to be the female side where the action is. Mm-hmm. All right. Please put your players in order when you put them in the comment field. In other words, don't put, if you pick Djokovic and then you pick Feliciano Lopez and then you pick Tsitsipas and then you pick TM and then you put them in order. And preferably with your seeding rank next to them. I write every score down by hand, by the way, and keep up with it by hand. So if I get, a couple hundred entries, it's hard for me to go and check everybody's deal. And I try to do so and then warn you about it. But if I miss somebody and the tournament starts and you have a player erroneously picked, you got 5 players within the top 20 when the max is 4. I'm going to scratch one off just randomly. So try to pay attention to that. If I can catch it beforehand, I will. But sometimes I can't catch all of them. So, for instance, if you picked Djokovic, TM, Tsitsipas, and Medvedev, put those at the top, my 4 within the top 10. And then list the other 4 below, and then your wild card or qualifier lastly. No changes may be made to your tennis racket giveaway picks or to your fantasy team picks after the first ball has been struck, and I think the tournament starts on February the 8th. Mm-hmm. So first ball struck, I don't care if your player is playing or not. Once the tournament starts and the first serve is in, picks are locked. That is after qualifying, right? So once the main draw starts, first ball, locks are picked. Keep eyes out for your players that may pull out or decide not to play, and replace them adequately if you catch it. In other words, if you picked Nadal, he decides to pull out, change him, because if not, you'll be stuck with the lucky loser.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That's happened
many times.
It's happened a lot.
Yeah.
If you don't change him, you'll be stuck with the lucky loser. I already said that. Mm-hmm. All right. Reminder, you can have as many players seated outside of the top 20 as you wish. You can have 8 of them, and every match win will all be worth 2 points, and that's fine. But you cannot do that with your 9th and new player. That's the qualifier or wild card. If you filled it up with qualifier and wild card, just one of them would be worth the 3 points. All right, hence why we have a bonus player for this one. So if there's any questions, please ask them in the comment field below. I will, or we will rather. Sometimes Carla, when I'm doing these updates, prefers to get the dinner ready for the 5 kids and do what we do with the 5 kids, hence the name 5K Tennis. But sometimes I'll just do the updates alone. Sometimes I'll have one of our 5 kids sit in and help me out and do those updates. But I will do periodic updates, separate videos throughout the tournament, and I'll update them on this playlist that I'm putting this video on. So keep your eyes out for those, but do put all of your comments, questions on this video, okay? So that way everybody can see, talk smack. A lot of people love to talk smack out there. Hey, I'm 2 points away from you, and I got your boy next up. You got him, and man, I can't wait for that. And, it pumps 2 people up because there's prizes at hand. All right, did I miss anything, my lovely Carla?
No.
And I like that 5K tennis shirt too. That's one of my favorites. We have some new ones with the 5K with the racket, and then on the back it says "Let's Go" across the back shoulder. So that's.
And it doesn't have to be. The shirt doesn't have to be for you. It could be for a female. It could be for one of your kids. We have different, not only shirts, other things too. But yeah. All
right, I'm going to end this show, or I guess instruction manual, on 2 quick things. We won't debate them here, and we'll try to talk about it in the comments. Give us something to talk about the rest of the day. Our oldest son, Jonathan, is going back to the Air Force Academy in a day or 2, so we're going to talk about it in comments. All right, the first thing I wanted to bring up is Gene Swart out there in South Africa sent us a topic about the living arrangements for the players as they proceed to go to Australia for the quarantine period has been compromised in a way, I guess, where the players were staying or going to stay was a bunch of privately owned penthouses, etc., and some of the residents within them are objecting to the fact that people from all over the globe are going to be moving next door to them potentially, and they feel like it's not safe for them to do so. What are your thoughts on that? Will it change anything in terms of the logistics of the tournament? Do you agree with the residents in those houses? Would you want players internationally that you don't know, knowing that you may not give a darn about tennis, moving next door to you? Thoughts and comments, all right? And Carla read an article about Serena Williams, and let's get her to tell us about that. And
I don't remember his name. Tiriac.
The
Romanian. He was Boris Becker's ex-coach.
He was a doubles guru, if I remember correctly. I think he won the French Open with Nastasi somewhere. I don't know, late 70s, maybe 1980, late 70s, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. But Tiriac, he's like a billionaire businessman now, I think, bought a bunch of businesses in
I
Romania.
Remember him for Boris Becker.
Anyway, so Tiriac, outspoken a businessman that is, I think he owns the Madrid Open, by the way. I think he owns the tournament. He was the guy always sitting in the audience.
Yeah, he's the one that complained that Halep didn't have competition.
Yeah.
It's the most boring boring final he had ever seen last year.
So the gentleman, the gentleman Tiriac, who always just tells it how he feels it to be, called out Serena Williams and to tell her to retire if she had any sense of decency. So Tiriac, and usually when you see him in the audience at different tournaments, he's got a big bottle of vodka or a cup of vodka in his hand. So he speaks pretty freely, as you can imagine. When you tie vodka up with speaking, it generally comes out wrong. But anyway, his quote was, if Serena Williams had any decency, she would go ahead and retire.
A little decency.
Yeah, a little decency. So what does he mean by that? Well, I know that Nastasi and Tiriac have blasphemed her over the years. I think they allude to that, 15 years ago she moved better, and she's not going to...
Well, he said she needs to lose weight, she's a mother, she's older.
Yeah.
Etc.
So what are your thoughts on that? I'll give you my quick thoughts. I think it's ridiculous. I think Serena Williams has been to four major finals within the past couple of years. Granted, she didn't win any one of them, but that still puts her in my book at the second best player in the world.
What does that say about the women's tour then? If she's, like he said, bigger, mother, older, what does that say about the rest of the tour?
You tell us what you think it says about the women's tour in comment. So what are your thoughts on the living situation per residents in Australia? And what do you think about Tiriac's statements on Serena Williams? And give us your opinion on either or. That's it, everyone. Please subscribe to the channel, especially do it if you are going to play either of the two games. And a huge thank you, as always, to Ivor Savage, who is a personal friend of ours and also the owner of Whitetech Strings that is really, 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 really all about sharing tennis and coaching it. And letting people try their products. So anyway, by the way, if you do get any of the sets of strings and you would like to once you demo them or try them, if you would like to give me feedback, hey, I like them, I didn't like them, it buzzed a little bit, or it broke on the stringer, or I'm just rolling off stuff that me as a playtest stringer would get on a questionnaire. It generated spin, it felt dead, it was lively, blah, 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 blah. Let me know, and I'll relay them back with your name on it to Ivor and the entire Whitetech team. So see you later, guys. Take care. We will see you very, very soon for another live show. And we will get back into current topics and news then. All right?
All right.
All right. Adios and best of luck. See you later.
Bye-bye.